as we've seen this offense for Ole Miss, they want to throw the ball a lot. You wonder how this affects them. Matt Corral is heading out onto the field right now, and they actually were just practicing snapping the football to Corral, trying to make sure he's comfortable there.
Good stuff, Laura, and it is Corral at the moment on the field. That while you were talking, Laura, we saw a shot, and I think you could see that pinky finger. It was a great shot there where it was pinched up against the defender's arm, and it got bent in a funny way. So we'll see how long Corral is in this game. He throws a jump ball and get it to number 5. That's usually a good plan. DeMarcus Lodge with the catch.
Welcome to the Egg Bowl, freshman. Well done. Matt Corral, a little back shoulder, underthrown deep ball. He was a big recruit. Originally committed to Florida, finds his way to Oxford. Does a nice job holding up DeMarcus Lodge. A good job by the receiver making a play for him.
Not a lot of Californians on these rosters, but Matt is from Ventura, Long Beach Poly kid, and completed a pass for 26 yards. Now gets away from one would-be tackler and takes a big hit, pops right back up.
Talking to the people around this program, they say, okay, who's he like? What's his personality like? Matt Corral. They say, well, it's just like Chad Kelly. He's really got a lot of swagger. Very physical, very competitive. He really loves to play the game. It's going to be fun to watch him operate, maybe some few extra reps.
Into Mississippi State territory, 2nd and 4. And good run defense from the Bulldogs there. Scotty Phillips in for this series for the first time. Got stuffed by Errol Thompson and company. I know you like that linebacker for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Errol Thompson's a great player. We'll definitely be talking an awful lot about him. Extremely physical in the middle of the field, but I know it's a sight for sore eyes too. On the other side, the receiving end of that hit from Errol Thompson was Scotty Phillips. He's been out the last couple games with an ankle injury. It's been a big reason why this offense has become a little bit more balanced over the course of this season.
A 3rd and 4. And a pitch play to Phillips. Phillips trying to get to that corner, could not do it. What a nice play by the defensive back, Cameron Dantzler. It's 4th down. So it's in that part of the field where it's not just a guarantee that Ole Miss punts the ball away, but I think that's what they're going to do.
It was a great tackle in the open field by Cameron Dantzler. You see Matt Luke, true to his history, going and visiting with Alex Givens, his right tackle, trying to figure out what happened. Not often you see the head coach grab the offensive lineman. Usually grabs the quarterback.
That's what happens when your head coach is a former offensive lineman. That's Matt Luke's background. Another punt that took a while to get off. Mississippi State has pressured the punts in this first quarter. We'll see if that pays off later in this Egg Bowl. Bulldogs have the ball back, leading 7-0.
Win and you're in.
Enjoying things so far. 7-0 with the lead. 2:34 to go. Our college football playoff rankings are presented by Capital One. Some big games on the docket in the top 10. Our most recent rankings. What stands out to you?
Man, there's a bunch of them. Obviously, Michigan, Ohio State, massive game. Always is. Ohio State kind of limping into that game, and Michigan looking as good as anybody. But don't sleep on Oklahoma, West Virginia. Tomorrow night, that's going to be an unbelievable matchup. Two offenses that can really move the football down the field.
Projected total in that game, 84 points. That's the baseline. Harris Williams gets the carry on first down for a nice game for the Bulldogs offense. Meanwhile, they're playing catch still. This was just a moment ago on the sidelines for Ole Miss. That's Matt Corral, the backup true freshman quarterback. And now he's having a problem with his throwing hand, just like the starter Ta'amu. On 2nd down, Williams bounces it to the outside with a lot of room in front. Nice cut upfield. Out close to the 40-yard line. Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Dave, it did look like Ole Miss's backup quarterback, Matt Corral, had jammed his thumb there. He's now okay, so maybe it just scared him a little bit, but he did catch a few more passes after that. So he is fully recovered and ready to go if he's going to go back in. But once again, Jordan Ta'amu probable to return. We could see him next drive for Ole Miss.
There's 100 guys on the sideline. Why are you catching passes? It's a little cold. It's brisk. The backup quarterback doesn't need to be catching passes. Have someone catch it for you.
I think that's a good piece of advice. Fitzgerald and the Mississippi State offense on first down. Again, Williams with a lot of room into Ole Miss territory. Another first down for the Bulldogs.
It's a beautiful move at the second level. You can see him, Miles Hartsfield, right there. And Williams puts that left foot in the ground, shimmies inside, and there he goes. I'm telling you, he's a very underrated back. So productive last year. Kylan Hill has a little bit more explosive ability.
So 3 plays on this drive. 9-yard run, 16-yard run, 13-yard run. How many yards is this run going to be? Make it 12 on first down.
Ole Miss is going to need to find an answer for this rushing attack. So far, as you can see, Wesley McGriff, the defensive coordinator, haven't been able to do much. Mississippi State has run the ball on 13 of their 17 snaps and is averaging almost 8 yards a carry.
True to form, already over 100 for the first quarter. Kylan Hill checks in, that sophomore who punched it into the end zone on the last drive. Williams goes to the sideline. Fitzgerald, design quarterback run, and Fitzgerald out into the open, dragging that defensive player with him inside the 20, down to the 18.
They found a play here that they really like, just based on formation. That's the second time now that they've called Fitzgerald's number on this quarterback power to the right-hand side. Last time he burst it for a big one. This time he does so again. They clearly like something with their numbers against the way Ole Miss is aligning to that formation.
My guess is in the second quarter, we're going to see more of that from Mississippi State, because it is working here in this 2018 Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night in Oxford, Mississippi. The Bulldogs swinging for the fences with a 7-0 lead.
Obviously, a Heisman Trophy contender, and Will Greer, the senior, former Florida quarterback, blossomed into a star in Morgantown.
Before the first play of the second quarter, with Mississippi State leading 7-0. I believe that's an Ole Miss penalty. Is that big Benito Jones?
Offside. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Benito Jones has been one of the few bright spots on this defense, and he's so quick and active coming off the football. Sometimes he gets a little bit ahead of himself. Right there, they use the snap count against him, and he gets a bit of a head start.
So it's 1st and 5. Fitzgerald with Kylan Hill alongside. Will keep it. Fitzgerald trying to get away. Inside the 10, down to about the 8. Bulldogs keeping the ball on the ground to great effect. On this drive, a 9-yard run, a 16-yard run, 13, 11, and 20. They've gotten 4 first downs, looking for a 5th on 2nd and 1.
You can expect them to continue to keep it on the ground in this part of the field. When they get down here in the red zone, their run percentages go up significantly, especially if the defense doesn't have an answer for it.
Typically makes them a very good red zone team. Kylan Hill trying to lunge forward, and I think he got close. He did not quite get there. About a half a yard short. It's 3rd and a half of a yard. Is that Sonogo on the turf hurting?
Looks like Josiah Coatney. Yeah, that's exactly who it is.
Yep.
A big defensive tackle.
Another one of their best players. So they can't afford to lose him. They'll take a look. Hopefully he's all right. We'll be back right after this. To the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Little LED light show here at the Egg Bowl on this Thanksgiving night in Oxford, Mississippi. Dave Fleming, Greg McElroy, Laura Rutledge, 7-0. The Bulldogs with the lead over the Rebels. Our Thursday night college football presented by Dave & Buster's. 3rd down and a yard, even less than that for Mississippi State and Nick Fitzgerald early in the second quarter. 1st down and a touchdown for Fitzgerald. And you know how much that moment and every positive moment that he has in this game will mean to him.
This was a nice decision by him. He looks out to his left, doesn't like Kylan Hill on the little wide route. So he says, hey, what better guy than me to take it myself, call my own number, get north and south vertical, and find pay dirt.
So the extra point coming. Fitzgerald already has 62 rush yards and now an Egg Bowl touchdown. It is 14-0 Mississippi State. Well, glad you're with us here on this Thanksgiving night. And Greg, it is no surprise what we're seeing from the Bulldogs offense. They want to run the ball tonight, and they want to run the ball with their quarterback. You know that this game means so much to him after what we witnessed last year in Starkville.
Yeah, injured early in the game, taken out, a full offseason of rehab, a full offseason of frustration, now having an opportunity to prove himself yet again. And he's really done a great job making good decisions with the football. They haven't had to throw it much. They've obviously leaned heavily on not just his legs, but Kylan Hill and Eris Williams' legs. He's kept his emotions in check, has been efficient, and hasn't been a little bit too high with the high and low with the lows, which he had a tendency to do at times throughout the course of his career.
Well, I think you do make a good point about, Ole Miss is capable of being a come-from-behind team. They have an explosive offense, a lot of weapons. Mississippi State is a great front-running team, and they're keeping the ball on the ground. You figure that will continue, and they have a lead. They love to play powerful football. Ta'amu had his helmet on, so we may well see him come back on the field after missing a series. That one in the end zone will be a touchback. And our drive recap brought to you by Enterprise. Keep it on the ground. Good formula for the Bulldogs.
That's been their formula and bread and butter all year. Here it is, Eris Williams. Nice little shimmy to avoid the tackler at the second level. There he goes yet again out the right-hand side. Then Nick Fitzgerald gets involved with a quarterback power along the right-hand side. He makes a great decision on what was a called pass play to his running back on the wide route. He doesn't like it. He decides to burst forward with his legs and picks up the touchdown. You can see what Mississippi State's all about just by watching those 8 plays on that drive.
Never threw the ball. Ta'amu throws the ball back in. That's a great sign for Ole Miss. And he hits the freshman Elijah Moore for a first down. Let's go down to Laura.
Dave, we have told you about the right hand injury for Jordan Ta'amu. That pinky is taped. But another thing to keep in mind, his left foot is also injured. He's dealing with a left foot sprain. So quarterback runs were going to be limited in this game anyway. Even more important that he's able to throw the ball.
And it is a good point. It is their final game, of course. They are not going to a bowl game. No matter whether they win this game, they're 5-6. They would get their 6th win. But this is the second year of their 2-year postseason ban, part of their NCAA sanction. So this is, in essence, their bowl game. They've treated it like a bowl game all week long, done some special stuff, some charitable stuff, had like a players' hospitality area in their locker room area. This is it for Ole Miss. They're going to pitch it back to Elijah Moore. Trying to get to that corner. There's the speed of the Mississippi State defense. And Jonathan Abram once again.
Jonathan Abram over the last few weeks has just elevated his play to a whole new level. We always loved him because of his versatility. He could play safety or he could play kind of that nickel linebacker. Right there, showing off the sideline-to-sideline speed.
On 3rd and 9, A.J. Brown gets a touch. He hadn't had one in a long while. Kind of goes down awkwardly there with the tackle. I think he's okay. Jamal Peters, well short of a first down. And probably another punt coming. Good thing that A.J. Brown was able to get up. That didn't look pretty.
Just kind of rolled backwards a little awkwardly. A.J. Brown, so tough and physical at wide receiver. Also very flexible, though, too. I mean, he's just a tremendous athlete right there. No issues for him as he goes to the ground.
Yeah, that catch sets a new single-season Ole Miss record. 83 catches this year. Almost 1,300 yards. Another pressured punt. Fair catch at around the 25. Mississippi State gets the ball back. 14-0 Bulldogs. You think they'll be handing the ball off when we come back?
I would imagine a heavy dose of run.
Another highlight for the history of this Egg Bowl rivalry. 2045-30 Ole Miss with the win. They like to say the Deuce got loose. Deuce McAllister, one of the all-time greats in Ole Miss football history, had a huge Egg Bowl that year. Fun to watch those highlights of him. I got some guys on this current Ole Miss team. A.J. Brown comes to mind most prominently, who are among the all-time greats themselves. But right now, Ole Miss looking for something positive. Mississippi State with a 2-touchdown lead, getting the ball back. They run for 3 yards on first down.
And that's a good start. They have to be more stout at the line of scrimmage. We saw Josiah Coatney go down just a series ago, but he's back out there on the field. Fortunately, a defensive tackle, as is Benito Jones. Those two guys really need to emphasize the penetration in the front in order to slow down this Bulldog rushing attack.
I mean, you said it early in our telecast tonight, and I think it's true. And this isn't piling on these Ole Miss players. Williams, that was a good play by Benito Jones. Just a gain of a couple yards. It'll be third down. They have some individual talent on defense. The numbers do not really back that up. Their statistical numbers on defense are ugly, but they have some talented individuals.
They do. They have a lot of talented guys. Just for whatever reason, when you watch them, they're unsound. Sometimes they're not lined up properly. They've struggled tackling week in, week out. It's been a frustrating watch this year sometimes when you turn on the Landshark defense.
So it's 3rd and 5. Fitzgerald on the move, looking to throw, pressured, and just has to throw it away. So that's a good possession for the Ole Miss defense. And big number 95 was in the middle of everything.
That was a great job by Benito Jones getting on the perimeter and forcing the throw, but you have to credit the secondary, a secondary that has experienced quite a few up and downs throughout the course of the season. Right there, that was a coverage sack. There was nobody open downfield. And Benito Jones was able to break free and force Nick Fitzgerald to throw the ball away.
Tucker Day, the punter. Elijah Moore can be pretty dynamic back there as the punt return man. Well, he signals fair catch, so there won't be a return here. A pretty good field position for this Ole Miss offense, trying to rev it up with all those Texans in that division in the AFC. 8:15 kickoff time. Stream live on the app. Coverage begins at 6 with Monday Night Countdown. Big game in the AFC South. Titans and the Texans. Meanwhile, here the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night. Ole Miss offense, here we are, 5 minutes into the second quarter with no points on the board. They're not used to that. A nice start to this drive. All the way out close to midfield. Already beginning with their best starting field position. And it gets a lot better after the very first play. You see the numbers the first 4 times they had the ball. Punt, fumble, punt, punt. And the longest drive was 6 plays, 19 yards.
Just haven't been able to manufacture much. Haven't really thrown it with great efficiency. Haven't been able to run the football. Got to find something on this drive, though. Get that offense some rhythm.
That's one thing that typically this year, for all that hasn't gone right, has not been a big problem. That was a dart from Ta'amu to DeMarcus Lodge. First down well into Mississippi State territory.
DeMarcus Lodge just doesn't get enough love. I mean, this guy makes play after play, and especially the last couple of weeks, he started to emerge. Now, A.J. Brown's the star, and he's the go-to guy, but don't sleep on 5.
Pressure comes. Ta'amu throws into coverage, incomplete. Trying to get it to A.J. Brown. I thought last week at Vanderbilt, DeMarcus Lodge had one of the all-time tough guy performances that I could remember. I mean, there were times where it looked like he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And he was back on the field making play after play.
And he stepped up. When DK Metcalf went down, that was a huge loss. Obviously opposite A.J. Brown. Lodge has been thrust into the lineup on the outside. Always played a bunch, but now playing in a different role. And has really responded to the challenge. It's been fun to watch for the senior.
So now Ta'amu and a timeout. Yes, no. A Mississippi State player went down to the ground with some sort of cramp or something. He's barking at somebody on the bench. That's Jamal Peters. So they'll take a look at Peters. And we will step aside just briefly. Back ready. This season, Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like Ole Miss by awarding the best student section of the year. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see if your team made this week's rankings and to see how your school can compete even on Thanksgiving break. Lots of the students are here tonight in Oxford. Mississippi State with the 2-touchdown lead. Jamal Peters on the sideline after going down with something was going on with either his knee brace, or something. 2nd and 10 for Ole Miss. Ta'amu, who missed the series himself with a finger injury, back on the field here. This is the deepest down the field that Ole Miss has gotten. That was, I guess, supposed to be a quarterback run. It did not work.
And tried to go with a little quarterback draw.
Chauncey Rivers.
Yeah, Chauncey Rivers just slides inside on a little stunt up front, makes the play.
Yeah, they play a lot of guys on the defensive line, don't they?
Yeah, it's definitely not a two-man show. They're much deeper than just Jeffrey Simmons and Montez Sweat. It's a really good group collectively, and they can go 2, even 3 deep in spots.
Keeps everybody fresh. One of the reasons why Mississippi State statistically is arguably the best defense in the country. That one, A.J. Brown came back to get the ball, and then he slipped. Well, he was thinking first down and much more, and he slipped on the turf. It's 4th down.
It's a little corner cat, and A.J. Brown does a great job of coming back to the football, finding that space in the defense, coming back, and unfortunately can't keep his feet as he's trying to pick it up on the 3rd and long. But it looks like Ole Miss is going to leave their offense on the field and go for it here in 4th and manageable.
Why not? It's the Egg Bowl. It's your last game of the year. Be aggressive.
I know which direction I'd be looking, though. That's in the direction of number 1.
A.J. Brown at the bottom of the screen on 4th and 4. Play clock was winding down. Ta'amu instead goes to the tight end with a great catch. That was good coverage, but Dawson Knox hangs on first down, Ole Miss.
A great throw by Ta'amu. Look at where he puts this football, on the left shoulder of Dawson Knox. He sees that collapse by C.J. Morgan, who's covering Knox, and he throws it away from the defender. Uncoverable if you throw it with that type of accuracy.
That's a good point. If he put that right on the number 9, might not have been a completion. He gets it right back to number 9 for a short gain on first down.
It's a critical drive for Ole Miss. Their defense has had a tough time, but they've rewarded them on the last opportunity. 3 and out. Their offense, good field position. They absolutely have to cash this drive in with at least 3, but obviously they're hoping for 6.
And they're using a tight end as a wildcat quarterback here. Ta'amu out, and Pellerin's going to run the ball. Mississippi State saw that coming.
Yeah, Pellerin goes in for one reason and one reason only, to run the football, and more often than not, to run the football between the tackles. He was a quarterback at one time, but when Shea Patterson beat him out, they moved him to tight end. He's one of their better athletes, just unable to get much going because he just doesn't have a lot of versatility to his game.
So it's 3rd and 5. Big play here on both sides with Ole Miss down by 2 touchdowns. Still 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Watch all the pressure.
Pressure comes. Ta'amu gets rid of it. Intended for the tight end. Incomplete. Jonathan Abram has been everywhere in this first half. He had the coverage. And now they're not going to go for it. They're going to line up and try a field goal.
Yeah, correct decision here. You have to turn this drive into points. I know it's not the amount of points they were hoping for, but you cannot walk away empty-handed after your defense gets you the ball with the starting field position they did.
From this distance, Luke Logan's been very good. He's had a good year. He leads the SEC in scoring, and this one is up and good. His 22nd made field goal of the year. So Logan from the Coliseum on Saturday, 8 Eastern on ABC. Number 3, Notre Dame against the Trojans of USC. Watch it live on the ESPN app if you're on the go on Thanksgiving weekend. Notre Dame, their final game, of course, they won't play in a conference championship. Their final chance to convince the committee, if they can win, that they should be in. Jamal Peters riding that exercise bike. He was the guy who went down and stopped play late in that drive for Ole Miss that turns into 3 points. Matt Luke, the head coach, talking to his quarterback. Mississippi State will get the ball back here. Shorter kickoff. And a return coming outside the 20, 25. And even a little bit more, close to the 30. That's where the Bulldogs will take the ball. For more on the defensive back, Peters, let's go down to Laura.
Dave, as you mentioned, Peters on the bike now. He's been on the bike ever since he came out of the game. I'm told by the Mississippi State athletic training staff that he re-aggravated an old injury, that left knee, but he is probable to get back in this game.
You can see the brace on there pretty clear, but kind of looking at him, he was kind of standing around and looking to the sideline, decided to go down pretty abruptly. It didn't look like anything that was significant, but kind of unusual timing the way he went down.
I mean, we do get very cynical about that stuff. I think there are instances where players on a high-tempo offense go down to the turf to stop that tempo. Fitzgerald, quarterback run on first down. He got hit pretty hard.
Players do use that. I mean, they go down if a team's running tempo. The only thing is Ole Miss wasn't running tempo.
Yeah.
So it was kind of unusual, the timing of when Peters went down. So certainly something to monitor, and he's an important piece of that secondary. They're noticeably better when he's on the field.
Yeah, now it makes me think that was legit as opposed to just going down. He was feeling something, couldn't get to the sideline, so I'm not ready for this next play. I better go down. Anyway, it's 2nd and 8, Mississippi State. And in motion, a fake on that fly sweep kind of action. Ole Miss's defense was ready. Kadir Shepard, number 97. He's had a good year, the junior. A little undersized, but he's a playmaker.
Yeah, the transfer, and he's done a nice job. And if you've watched Ole Miss on defense the last couple drives, they're not respecting the pass at all. Their safeties are extremely tight, close to the box, not threatened whatsoever by Nick Fitzgerald throwing it down the field. Looks like they're going to be tight again.
Isn't that how you would play them?
That's exactly how I would play them. You see right here, there's going to be pressure off the left side. Unless they drop out. There they go.
So just a 4-man rush. They still pressure Fitzgerald. That ball came out. Now the arm might have been going forward. In the end, it won't matter much because Mississippi State was there to recover. Coatney, who came back in the game, I think he's the guy who got the hand up and knocked the ball away.
That was a really nice disguise by Ole Miss's defense. I mean, their safeties were very tight. The last few drives, they've been even tighter than what they showed. Looks like blitz. You're thinking blitz. As a result, you have your blitz beaters called. Next thing you know, Ole Miss defense drops out, and their defensive line gets home. That was a nice job by Weston McGriff, the defensive coordinator for Ole Miss.
What did you think? I think that was actually a fumble.
I do.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a fumble. It was recovered by the Bulldogs nonetheless, but a good job by getting home of the defensive line.
So the clock winding. That's back-to-back 3-and-outs for the Ole Miss defense. That's a real positive for them. A fair catch after the punt. Ole Miss gets the offense back on the field. Our college football awards spotlight is brought to you by the Home Depot. Two guys we've been talking about a lot in this first half of the Egg Bowl. Montez Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons having huge years for the Mississippi State defense.
And two of the best in the business when it comes to affecting the quarterback. And they are certainly not the only ones on that side of the football. I mean, Errol Thompson, Jonathan Abram over the last few weeks have been off the charts. These two guys, and they are as difficult to contain as anybody in the entire SEC.
The Home Depot College Football Awards Show, December 7th, 7 p.m. right here on ESPN. First down run, going backwards. So a loss of at least 2, maybe 3. That was Gary Green leading the charge from his defensive end spot.
And for Ole Miss this drive, I want to see offensive coordinator Phil Longo. I want to see him start to work the intermediate passing game. Mostly it's been all deep or all short. He needs to start working that intermediate zone, soften up these defenders.
That's deep and incomplete. Nobody was there. Elijah Moore broke in. The ball went out. It's 3rd and 12.
You can see Phil Longo with that pink wristband that he wears in tribute to his daughters. He also says it's easier for the players to see the pink. I don't know. I mean, that one looks like it's been washed a couple times, a little faded, but he's done a pretty good job with this offense, consistently putting up production.
Just wants them to know he's thinking about them at all times. Ta'amu on the move, trying to signal to his receiver to get farther downfield, and he whistled it over the head of the intended target. Incomplete. It's 4th down. And I think that is a little disappointing for Ole Miss fans. Defense back-to-back stops, and yet the offense just has not really been able to get any rhythm going in this first half.
Well, they got to start working the middle of the field.
I think you're right.
And they have to start working that intermediate passing game. It can't be all or nothing. It's got to be a little bit of in between, and they haven't really tried to do that yet.
Brown punting. This one a much better punt. over the head of the return man, still bouncing, and Mississippi State, that was pretty dangerous. Malik Deer pounced on it. He wanted to save a few yards. He did, but it won't be good field position for the Bulldogs. While we have a moment, we will say happy Thanksgiving to one of our favorites, a guy who's a lot to be thankful for, Adnan Berg.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Dave. We're back at you, pal. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. Coming up on the Mazda halftime report, plan to get to including that Big 12 showdown, West Virginia, Oklahoma. Jesse Palmer will break down both those offenses and what the key is going to be in that game tomorrow night. Plus, can Notre Dame stay unbeaten and get into the college football playoff? One last test there as they'll be facing USC, and Michigan's redemption tour continues in Columbus. All that more coming up. And seriously, Dave, what's the best part of Thanksgiving? Got to be the stuffing, right? Settle a bet here.
Stuffing. Hey, that would not be my number one pick in the Thanksgiving draft.
No, it would not.
Sweet potatoes, maybe? It's a tough call, but I'm going sweet potatoes.
I'm a strong. So I like for Thanksgiving something that you never have. Like, it has to be a true, only and unique to Thanksgiving. So we never have strawberry pretzel salad. It's a very southern dish. No one knows what it is, but my goodness, it's good.
I was not thinking that was going to be your number one pick.
It's basically strawberry jam. It's cream cheese and pretzels. I mean, a little sweet and salty. There's not much to it, but man, it's delicious.
All right, after we're going to get Laura's number one pick too. Laura, I don't know if you're listening to this.
Yeah, it's strawberry pretzel salad. I mean, come on. But I would go with stuffing, but it'd have to be my mom's. There's sausage in there too. It's delicious.
Nice.
A fake pitch, Fitzgerald straight ahead and tackled. We'll see where they spot him. Very close. I think he did get the first down. So mom's stuffing. I mean, you're right. Sweet potatoes you have during the year, so it's not a totally unique Thanksgiving food.
Unique dish to me.
I still really like it though. Turkey's not unique to you?
No, I have turkey all the time. I mean, I want something I'm going to have once a year.
Mashed potatoes, not unique.
No, I have it all the time.
Brussels sprouts.
Green bean casserole. Now, if you go green bean casserole, we can have a conversation.
Yeah, because usually you have green beans all year round.
Yes, but green bean casserole.
See, this is the stuff you get on Thursday night that you don't get anywhere else. Kylan Hill with the 2-yard run on first down. Well, we hope everybody who is watching us here tonight enjoyed their Thanksgiving feast, whatever your favorite may be. Now some college football on Thanksgiving night. Under 2 minutes to go, first half from the Egg Bowl. And for all of our crew and folks who put college football on the air for you to enjoy on your holiday, we appreciate them giving up their Thanksgiving night at home to be here in Oxford. Of course, I always say, where else would you want to be? It's an SEC rivalry game under the lights. That's a pretty good way to spend the holiday. There's Hill out into the open. Kylan Hill on the move to midfield and into Ole Miss territory. That is a very big play with just 1:20 on the clock here, nearing the end of the first half.
A huge play. I mean, Mississippi State content with just going into the locker room, running the football. Now they break a big run. Now they're thinking points. I'd see them get a little more aggressive here. They have 3 timeouts, plenty of time. In this part of the field, this might be where you start to get a little more aggressive with some of your offensive calls.
So with all their timeouts, 1:20, plenty of time on the clock, and they will throw the ball. Fitzgerald with a strong arm. He's not the most accurate quarterback. That was pretty accurate. And Stephen Guidry with a nice catch, another big gain.
He does throw this ball very well, the back shoulder. He doesn't have great touch, but when he drives the football, he has a tendency to be quite accurate. A nice job, too, by Guidry on the receiving end, going up, knowing where he's at on the field, getting a foot down in bounds on the back shoulder.
30-yard run, 25-yard pass. That's 55 yards in 2 plays for Mississippi State. With 1:13 on the clock, Harris Williams back in, trying to bounce it outside, and some tough running just to get close to the line of scrimmage. And Mississippi State is going to use one of those 3 timeouts. So 1:02 on the clock. 2 timeouts remaining for Joe Moorhead, who is in his first year at the helm of this Bulldogs program, experiencing his first Egg Bowl. Been lots of stories in the local papers leading into this Egg Bowl from previous coaches for both Ole Miss and Mississippi State talking about their first experiences with this rivalry.
Right.
And almost every one of them said, well, the main takeaway is, if you've never been a part of it, is don't lose.
No doubt. This rivalry has certainly been one of the more hostile in college football for 100 years, but over the last few years it's ramped up even. I mean, with everything that's gone on here, well into his 40s.
His brother had a big Egg Bowl moment as the quarterback for Ole Miss when he was still in middle school, high school. And then he played for Ole Miss, has coached here for a long time, now the head coach. Fitzgerald swung one out to the left flat, but a good open field tackle. Gain of about a half yard to Farrod Green, the tight end. Clock continues to roll. It's 3rd down and long. 8th play of the drive coming up here. Play fake, pressure picked up. There's another one of those back shoulder type throws. A lot of contact and 2 penalty flags thrown. Intended for Mitchell. This one's going against the defense. He loves the call. Javian Hamilton, I think, is the guy who's going to get penalized here.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Pretty obvious call. I mean, a lot of contact as Osiris Mitchell tries to go back and make a play on the underthrown deep ball. They're going to call that every single time as Hamilton obviously engages the contact and doesn't really turn around to make a true effort to try to catch the football. And these officials are going to spot that and throw the flag every time.
And now it's important to point out they got 2 timeouts. They can run the ball here even with only 30 seconds on the clock.
I bet they will.
Well, no. Why run when you can do that? Touchdown, Mississippi State. Dedrick Thomas. How about that drive? Remember the 65-yard punt. They started all the way back at their 8-yard line and looking initially like they were just going to be happy to wind the clock down.
Yeah, they saw all-out pressure, and they just recognized one-on-one with Thomas working against Hartsfield. He breaks in, and the quick slot receiver, a little too much quickness on the in-breaking route, results in the touchdown. Great play call, great execution by this Mississippi State offense.
What a drive for Nick Fitzgerald and company. Now, that was remarkable. They do get the ball to start the second half, so that could be a double hit for Ole Miss.
See, every time people say there's too many bowl games. Well, the bowl games are so important to the community because you get to do things like that in the week leading up. So a nice job by this Ole Miss staff trying to make it special for the young men and trying to simulate that bowl experience by getting involved in the community, giving back, and interacting with their neighbors and loved ones.
And that's what Ole Miss has done. They're not going to a bowl game this year, win or lose. So they treated this like their bowl week, did some extra service with their community. Anyway, job well done by Matt Luke and his group. On the field, though, it's been mostly positive for Mississippi State. Fair catch signal. That's a smart play with only 25 seconds on the clock. You save a few seconds. You got your timeouts. You got the big play receivers. At least give yourself a chance to take some shots down the field.
You can't do anything catastrophic, though, here. So if you're going to throw it, I'd still be a little surprised if they would, just knowing where they are on the field. Wouldn't want to try to do too much, especially on the pass rush that Mississippi State has on their side of the field. They can make a bad play worse in a hurry with Montez Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons.
And you were right. They're going to hand the ball off. So run play just a few yards out to the 30. And nobody's going to call a timeout, so that could well be the final play of this first half. And I think he hears some dissatisfaction from the fans in Oxford, unhappy that that's the way that the half came to an end.
It's the correct call, though. I mean, just you're down 18, regroup, don't take a risk and potentially go to halftime down 25.
So the halftime score, Bulldogs dominated 21-3. They lead their rivals in the Egg Bowl. And now on this Thanksgiving night, let's send it to a couple Canadians, Adnan and Jesse.
Contractually, man.